Supposed to be 8:30, so I apologize for that. Today is what? Today, oh, it's the last day of the month, November 30th. Tomorrow is December 1st, and we start the Christmas rush. Although here, we're not celebrating Christmas, I don't think. We were gonna, but we're not gonna. No, we're not gonna. We're like, hey, nobody cares about it here. None of the family cares about it here. People will, every once in a while, you'll get a Merry Christmas from somebody, but most of the time, there is no Merry Christmas. Nobody says that here. They don't celebrate Christmas in Thailand. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So, anyway, that's the way it goes. I'm here and I have some exciting news. I have a couple pieces of exciting news. I don't know if it's exciting, but I don't know if you can tell the difference between the audio from before and the audio right now. However, before, this is what I was using, which is exactly the same as this. However, I went out and got this, which is a little bit of glare here, but this is the DJI Mic Mini. And I got the one with two because if you get the one with two transmitters, it comes with a receiver. And if there was any problem in the past, it was that you're dealing with, you're basically connecting up just by Bluetooth. Now with this, you have the receiver plugged into the phone, and you're connecting to the receiver, which has a much greater capacity. You can be 400 meters away with this thing, and it will still connect, and it sounds like you're right there. And I did it yesterday. I was only about, I don't know, 50 feet away. But I turned it on, recorded with it, and I was like, you're right there. Whereas before, if you're farther away, the farther away you are, the less of a stable connection you have with Bluetooth. Anyway, so I think I've upgraded my audio problems here. And when I go ahead and get a new laptop, whenever that'll be, then I will upgrade to like a podcasting type audio system. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but that's what I'm going to do. So, anyway, that's exciting news for me. It's exciting because it works really well, and I know there is no doubt about it because of the receiver. And so I'm happy. Now, Thailand has been cold as of late. The night before last was 15 degrees Celsius, which is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And last night was 17 degrees Celsius, which is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's cold enough right now where I'm wearing this sweatshirt, and I have not worn this since we were in the Netherlands. The Royal Agricultural Station An Khang in Phang District, which is in Chiang Mai, reported its first frost of the season on Saturday with a thick layer blanketing large areas of their station. The temperature dropped to 2.1 Celsius, with ground frost measuring -3 Celsius on early Saturday morning. And in Chiang Mai, the temperature averaged 9 to 10 degrees Celsius, with strong winds adding to the chill. The mountain peaks remain cold to very cold, with lows ranging between 2 to 10 Celsius. So very, very cold. It was in the 50s Fahrenheit or so, 40s and 50s. And the coldest temperature in the northern lowlands on Saturday was recorded in Chiang Rai, which was 7.5 Celsius, followed by Nan and Payao, 8 Celsius, Lampang, Lamphun, and Mae Hong Son, 9 Celsius. So very cold. It's been raining as of late down in the south. The south of Thailand had a lot of rain, and they had an unprecedented 350 millimeters of rain falling, which is once in 300 years is what they're saying. However, a lot of flooding going on down there in the south, especially in Hat Yai, and our friend Steve is down in Hat Yai, and he's underwater there. But the flooding is wreaking havoc. Thousands are stranded, and as many as 162 people have died there. And Thailand continues to this day, to right now, suffering severe damage from the rains. So let's hope that that clears up. The exchange rate, I don't know what happened. You know, it was up to 32.7, 32.8, something like that a couple weeks ago. Now it's 32.11. Likewise, I don't know what's going on with the air quality because it's been in the 20s. Now it's up to 129, which is unhealthy. And I don't like that. And I've said this for a long time. If we can live down in the south on the ocean, I'm there. Let's get out of here. I'm there like right away. Temperature in Celsius, 20 degrees right now. High of 31, low of 17. That's what it was last night. Feel like temperature is 21. So what is that? That's about that's about 60, about 79 degrees. So very, very nice. In Fahrenheit, that's the temperature 68, high of 88, low of 62.6, and the feel like temperature 79. That's what it feels like right now. Humidity is 78, and next week and a half or so, you get sun on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the clouds and rain begins again. So who knows what that means for the flooding. So that's what the weather's like here in Thailand right now. Gotta have that. Gotta have my espresso. Now, a quick note. I'm working on a video guide. It's called Moving and Living in Thailand, the complete guide. And the video should go up sometime next week. It's a 30-part series. And there'll be a members section to go with it. Let me just read some of the things that'll be in it here. We've got why people really move to Thailand, who should not move to Thailand, understanding Thai culture, how much money you really need, visas in Thailand, simple, not stupid, finding the right place to live, what Thai people expect from you, dating in Thailand, earning money in Thailand, understanding Thai family culture, Thai work culture, Thai education system, Thai politics, surviving long-term in Thailand, corruption and favoritism, Thai bureaucracy, Thailand on a budget, living Thai style without living like a bum. That's kind of me, I think. I live on a budget, but I don't live like a bum. Food safety, water safety, and how to avoid getting sick. Making friends as an expat, starting a business in Thailand, health, fitness, and aging, building financial security in Thailand, avoiding financial scams in Thailand, learning Thai and cracking Thai communication, building real relationships in Thailand, raising children and family life in Thailand, driving, transport and mobility, shopping, groceries, and daily life costs, Thailand's social traps, addiction, escapism, and how expats destroy themselves. And then finally, healthcare, hospitals, insurance, and long-term medical life in Thailand. Also, there's a bonus chapter about gold in Thailand and what foreigners always get wrong. That's a video series. So video series, not book. I do have the book that I've mentioned before, the Expat Guide, the Expat Survival Guide in Thailand. What living smart in Thailand. The link's down below in the description. Excuse me. Now, before I get started, how is the sound? Is it very clear? Is it loud? What is it like? Is it better than before? It should be better. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Paul. Nice and cool. Yes, it is. I'm quite enjoying the cold weather. Most people are here, even my wife. Move to the beach, brother. Mellow, low stress, clean air. Yeah. I know it's mellow. I know it's low stress, although I have really very little stress here myself. I mean, honestly, I have very little stress. Clean air, that's a different story. Good morning, smiling Bangkok. Mr. Steve, we're just talking about you. Greetings from Water World. What is Sanook and why not to be too serious? Well, if you don't know what Sanook is, you better figure it out. Sound is good enough, kind of breaks at the end of the sentences. Anybody else getting that? Because it shouldn't break at the end of the sentences. Not at all. In fact, it should be better than before. If it's not, I got to send the microphone back. Now, I can turn it up. I can turn the sound up. Turn up the gain if I want. Let's see here. Okay, the gain is up now. It should be much louder. I don't know how loud it is, but there you go. I'm going to turn it to normal. There we go. All right, so that's normal. So today we're going to talk about expat or immigrant. Are you one of the privileged? And I haven't really given this all that much thought, to be honest, in the past. I don't really care. The reason is I don't care what somebody calls me. You can call me whatever you want. I don't really care. You can lump me in. I mean, who came up with passport bros? They want to be passport bros? Okay, you're a passport bro. Do I want to be a passport bro? I don't know. I don't care. But I didn't move here 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Nobody called me that 30 years ago when I moved here. 31 years ago. It's almost 31 now. 32, rather. Nobody called me a passport bro. Do I really care? No. Do I really care whether you call me an expat or an immigrant? No, I don't care. However, some people are very picky about what you call yourself. Some people are very finicky about calling yourself an expat when really you are an immigrant, and that is true. The bottom line is we're all immigrants, the people who live in a different country. We're immigrants. Now, if you're an expat, it's because you moved somewhere short term. You didn't move there to live there permanently. I moved here for, say, a year, and at that point I would say, well, I'm an expat. After a couple of years, I went, I'm not moving back. Then I became an immigrant. I had immigrated here, okay? Well, that would be us, I would say, because we are here, and if we get those things, then that's great. But if we don't, But anyway, you ever notice how the moment someone leaves their home country, they suddenly develop a deep emotional attachment to this label that they get? Nobody just says, I moved to Thailand. Well, I did, but this is 31 years ago. That's just too ordinary, because people who move abroad, they feel like they've reinvented themselves. And actually, I did feel that way. They're on a journey, they're world citizens, and of course, they are expatriates. Now, when I moved, I thought, I'm on an adventure. I'm an adventurer because I want to see the world. I want to travel. I didn't even think about I'm an expat, I'm an immigrant. And it's funny because If you think about this, the original meaning of expatriate was not glamorous at all. It meant your homeland kicked you out. You were exiled. You were banished. That is the genesis of the word. Okay? You weren't living the dream. It was get out and stay out. But today, people cling to that word expat like a badge of honor, and maybe there's a reason for it. And that reason is that expat is the socially upgraded label. It's the first class term of foreign identity, and everybody kind of wants the upgrade. And while being an immigrant is kind of like you're sitting in the middle seat next to the toilet in the back. The same action happened. You left your country, but somehow that label either raises you up or puts you down on the social ladder. Not really directly, but if you want to put it crystal clear, the truth is, in one sentence, expat survives today almost entirely because it signifies a higher social class, higher status, and higher perceived desirability than the word immigrant. And in blunt terms, you can use, if you say same action, the person leaves the country. Same situation, the person lives abroad. Same reality, the foreigner is living on someone else's soil. But the label changes based on your nationality, your race, your income, your education, your perceived prestige, and who society wants to elevate and who they want to downgrade. An expat means you're foreign but welcome. An immigrant means you're foreign but tolerated, and that is the essence. So let's not sugarcoat it. And, I don't have any problem with this. That's the thing. I don't have any problem. You want to call me an expat, go ahead. I'm not calling myself, if I have called myself an expat, it's just habit. That's what it was. Now that I think about it a little bit, I don't have a problem calling myself an immigrant. I'm a legal immigrant. I'm not an illegal alien. Like in the song. What is this? Immigrants seeking permanent. It's better than backpacker. Whatever. Listen, in the old days, a backpacker was like being cool. It was like, hey, I'm a backpacker. Yeah, all right. You got your Let's Go Thailand or Rough Guide or Lonely Planet, and, you're just traveling about. Nowadays, it's kind of like, you're one of those people. You're a backpacker. Japanese expats usually effed up as having to leave their homeland makes you look bad. Yeah, okay. Morning. How about a refugee? LOL. I don't know why that's funny. Splitting hairs on the regs. Legal today, illegal tomorrow. What are you talking about? On the regs. What regs? What are you talking about? I've been legal today. I've been legal here for 31 years. So I don't think tomorrow I'm going to be illegal. Could it ever happen? Of course. Anything can happen. But do I think it's going to happen? No, not really. And if it did, oh well. Honey, it's time to leave. Let's go somewhere else. Okay. Bye-bye. Backpacker is someone who doesn't shower regularly. I don't think that's what it meant in the old days, to be honest. And let's face it, sometimes you're traveling, and you're on a train, whatever you're doing, you're flying, and there is no shower in the airport, there is no shower on board, so all you do is maybe wash your face, you wash your pits if you got any class. Maybe you wash something else. But some people don't do that. Some people are just stinky. Like the Frenchman on the train when I was going to wherever I was going. I don't even know. I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. I think I was going to, was it the, I don't know where I was going. Maybe it was Nong Khai. So, you know, whatever. I don't care where they're from. All that makes no difference. That's just a label, really. Okay, yeah, so you're French. Oh, does that mean all French people are rude? No, it doesn't. I've been to France. People were not rude to me. I only had one person that was rude to me. That was the taxi driver. And the reason the taxi driver was rude to me was because I was running late. And, okay, not a reason to really be rude, but nobody else was rude to me. Actually, everybody was very nice. So you cannot stereotype a whole culture. And that's, you know, I mean, come on. You know, I mean, what are you going to do? Really, you going to do that? You're going to say all Americans are rude? Listen, I can tell you that if I want to be, I can be extremely rude. But most of the time, I'm not anywhere near being rude to people. I try to be polite, you know, in all circumstances. So, you know, you cannot stereotype people, you know. Hang on one second here. Let's see here. Yeah, all Americans are chill. Well, now there's another overstatement. I mean, really. All Americans are not chill, I can tell you that for sure. Just like all Brits are not drunks. You know. I mean, let's just face facts. It's a little, because, you know, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to say, well, some of them, well, you're always going to be saying that. Some of these people can be very rude. Some of these people are drunks. You know, no, it's just easy to go, oh, all those Russians like to drink vodka. All Russians don't drink vodka. Some do. Maybe more so than other cultures. Now, oh, and you know, the thing is that, wow, they're getting up there, Fire Dude. Well, I don't know that tipping is such a great thing, to be honest. I mean, I don't have a problem tipping a taxi driver if you bought. I don't have a problem doing that when it necessitates it, but I don't think you always have to tip. And if you mean going into Starbucks, buying a coffee, and somebody hands you your coffee and then you've got to give them a 20% tip, no, I don't do that. I don't care if they like me or not. I really don't. I just won't go there anymore. So, now you made me forget what I was going to say. All your fault. The truth is, the only reason expat is still used today is because it sounds a little bit classy. It puts a gold trim around the fact that you don't live in your country anymore. It's basically a social promotion. It's the VIP version of immigrant, because nobody calls a Burmese construction worker in Thailand an expat. Nobody calls a Cambodian maid an expat. Nobody calls a Filipino nurse in Dubai an expat. But if you're a Westerner and you got a laptop and a condo, that's an expat. Or maybe you're a digital nomad, which I think is, I mean, I was a digital nomad before there was digital. You know, I used to do everything by fax. Does that make me a pre-digital nomad? Maybe. I don't know, and I don't really care. None of that matters. You know, and I just saw that, who was it? What was the guy's? Oh, Simon Cowell. He said that he never looks at social media. He doesn't look at a newspaper. And I thought, man, that is gold. That's so awesome. And why do I think it's awesome? Because most of the stuff on social media is garbage. It's just there to keep you looking, keep you watching. That's all it's there for. My wife, she watches cat videos. Every once in a while, I'll get into something where some, fighter is talking about something, and I'm like, I watch it. And I'm like, why am I watching this? I really don't care what he has to say. He's no different than me other than he has a different occupation. You know what I'm saying? So I think about it sometimes, and I'm on YouTube, but I watch YouTube very little. And I haven't posted a photo on Instagram in almost 2 years. All I do is put up things on Facebook, my videos, and on Twitter or X, put up a video. That's it. I don't put anything else. Hey, oh wow, man, I had a great time at this place with my friend. I don't do any of that stuff. And I don't want to. Maybe I'd be a digital nomad if I did that, but I don't really think so, and I don't really care. But anyway, getting back to this, you're doing the same action and you're getting a different label. It's a class distinction baked into the language. And this is why a while ago I used to think to myself, yeah, okay, I'm an expat. I never even thought about, oh, am I an immigrant? An immigrant is somebody who moves to the place with the intention of it being permanent. Once you say, I live here, you are, in effect, becoming permanent. If you're saying, I'm going to live here for a year, then you're an expat. But some people will defend this like it's their own personal brand, it's their own identity, because deep down, they know that the word expat makes them sound better than what they may actually be. And like, to me, I don't care. I'm an immigrant. Okay. Some people immigrant because they go to work, they can get a better job. Some people go to immigrate because they have a better standard of living, or they want to be with their wife, or whatever it may be. But the truth is, you're still an immigrant. That's just the bottom line, Facts nomad. Call me an outcast. I give no fucks. If you care about that stuff, you got a fragile ego. Okay, well, everybody is not as tough as you, Bitmonger. Some people, they think a little bit differently, and that's just how I think. It's a different way of thinking. It's not my way of thinking, because personally, I don't care about it either. Now, if you're a refugee, you left the country because you have to, because of war, because of persecution, because of political violence, ethnic cleansing, some kind of a danger to your life, or maybe some kind of a religious oppression. If you are a refugee, you go to seek asylum, you get away. An immigrant leaves because they want to, because of better opportunities, higher pay, a better lifestyle, maybe for their education, for a lower cost of living, retirement, or family reasons. Now, the thing is that when I left, I didn't say I'm going there because of the cost of living. That was kind of secondary. I wanted the adventure. Hey, I'm leaving because I want to go there. It's a hub. I can go all over Asia. I can go all over the world from this place. Wow, it's going to be fantastic. And over there, it's not so expensive, so I can live pretty cheap. That was my thinking. Little did I know that, it was a lot cheaper at the time. Now it is cheaper, but it's not nearly as cheap as it used to be. I'm sorry. I mean, granted, our rent has not gone up since the time we've been here, which I think is about 11 years, maybe 10 years, something like that. But our rent has not gone up. We haven't paid more than 7,000 baht in probably 20 years. We paid 6,000 baht, and then the rent went up to 7,000. And then when we moved here, 7,000. Now, I don't foresee the lady increasing the rent because she hasn't done anything to the house. She's not upgrading the house, which we don't ask her to. So to me, that's a bonus, because why would you want to go and buy a house for, say, 40 or 50,000 baht a month, or 30,000 a month, whatever it is, 25,000 a month, when you can live for dirt cheap, you know? Yeah, but you see, this is another thing. Mike, I haven't celebrated November, the Thanksgiving. I haven't celebrated that. I used to go when I was about, let me think here, how long was it? 6 years, 31, so 25 years old. Since I was 25, I've traveled or been abroad during Thanksgiving. I used to go to the Netherlands every Thanksgiving. I'd take Thanksgiving holiday with my 2 or 3 weeks vacation, and I'd get 3 or 4 weeks in the Netherlands, and I'd go and train in Muay Thai. They didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. I never celebrated it, so I kind of forgot about it. Now, I know there is Thanksgiving, and some people are like, oh yeah, let's go out for Thanksgiving dinner. I went once a couple of years ago with a couple of guys. I don't remember if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving. Billy, 2/4 Korean, was the guy I went with, and there was another guy, Scott, that I went with. But I don't remember if that was Christmas or Thanksgiving, to be honest. I haven't gone out there, and you know, the fact that there's no turkey, I'd like to have a turkey sandwich every once in a while. I'd like to have turkey, you know, as a meal, but there is no turkey here. There's really, you have to really look for the turkey. You can find it, but you got to look for it. And quite frankly, I don't want it that bad. So to me, it makes no difference. And the holidays, what was it the other day? Was Labor Day? Or was it Veterans Day? I don't even remember. I have forgotten all the holidays. Now, you think about it. If you've been here for 30 plus years, you tend to start forgetting the holidays, because I don't celebrate them, because they don't celebrate them here in Thailand. So what the hell would I celebrate them for? And like I say all the time, people are so worried about, oh, what's going on with Trump? What's going on with this one? Oh, Congress is doing this. Oh, they're doing... I don't care. Why do I care? You know, I care if it affects me or somebody in the family or American people. I care if it's something huge. But other than that, I don't care. Why would I care? I live here. You know, I've lived here for a long time. I just don't care anymore. I care about what happens here. And I don't really care so much about what goes on here if I can't vote. I care to see the result. And if the result doesn't affect me, then no big deal. Now, in the U.S., yes, I am an investor. So I look at things that are going to affect my money, and that's about it. I don't care about anything else. You know, I care about my family's okay, my friends are okay, everybody's okay. And generally, you know, here's how it works. Most of the time, people are going to be okay. They're going to be okay no matter what. Now, during COVID, people were okay. Okay, some people weren't. And that was something to think about, right? I did think about that. I did worry about that. I was concerned about it. Here in Thailand, I wasn't all that concerned, but I was concerned about what's going on around the world because I wanted to see. Other than that, most of the time, things don't affect me. They don't affect people, and that's just the way that it goes. Now, getting back to the subject at hand, the Latin roots of the word expatriate. Expatria is out of the fatherland. To expatriate meant to get rid of them. There's no glamour, no status. It's just you're exiled. That's what it meant. Medieval kings used the word to describe people who removed themselves or were removed from their homeland, usually for political reasons. If anything, it implied disfavor, and it had nothing to do with prestige, which is what it has now. Oh, I'm an expat living in Portugal. I live off of $2,000 a month and have a great life. It didn't mean that, and it doesn't mean that now. It shouldn't mean that. It has morphed into that. And the colonial flip is where expat sort of became fancy. This is where the lie was kind of born. During the colonial period, Europeans living abroad weren't immigrants because they didn't see themselves joining the others who maybe had integrated to work or immigrated to work or whatever. They weren't integrating with them. They were staying to themselves, so they needed a nicer label, and they used expatriate, colonials, administrators, officers, or residents abroad. And suddenly, being away from home wasn't an exile anymore, it was a privilege. So that's what happened, is it became a privilege. Turkey, bacon, avocado with homemade white dress. I don't care about all that shit. That, it's nice, but I mean, make me one too. I'll be honest, I miss dolphin, the fish, not the porpoise, not the flipper. I miss the fish, which is also known as mahi-mahi or dorado. I miss that. I miss eating that. I miss my mother's home cooking. Everybody says mahi-mahi, but in Florida when I was growing up, it was dolphin. You knew it was the fish. I miss that. I miss conch fritters. I miss key lime pie. Yes, I miss those things. I miss rum cake. Ever had a rum cake? Oh my God. I miss those things. Now, do I miss turkey? A little bit. But guess what? I'm over it. I get over it. You get over things. You just move past it. I mean, really. It's like, okay, so I can't drink Coke anymore. Big deal. Oh, rum cake is so awesome. And we knew the owner of a rum cake factory. And we were tight with him. So we had 10, 15 rum cakes in my mother's cupboard all the time. Grouper, yes, grouper, snapper, yellowtail. Oh my God. We had all of them. And I ate a lot of fish when I was a kid. Now it's like salmon, what is it? The Pangasius, what's that other one? Tilapia, mackerel. This is the fish I get. Now, I do like mackerel in a can, but anyway. Yeah, even lobster here is not the same as it is back on the East Coast. The lobster on the East Coast is fantastic. Shrimp, fantastic. Shrimp here is small. Shrimp there is mostly big. So there are things that I miss, I just don't miss them that much to where I'm like, oh, I got to go back. I have to have this. Now, when I go back, I'm like, can I have this? I asked my mother, hey, can we have some dolphin? Can I have, what was that? I think I had the mahi-mahi sandwich once when we all went back. And what else was it that I had? I had the rum cake. I ate a whole rum cake by myself. Crawfish from Louisiana. I had that. We don't just eat turkey. We eat turducken, which is quite good. So there's a lot there. Listen, in case you don't know, and if I haven't said anything, my name is Scott, and I am an American in Bangkok. And I've been here for a long time, more than 3 decades. And that's all I got to say. I make videos, live streams, do this kind of stuff every once in a while. And yeah, click the like button, subscribe. Everything's down in the description. Check it on out. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. And I get tired of saying the same old stuff over and over again. You know, it's a routine, and I don't want to have to get into it. Hey, click this, do that, do this, do that. Oh yeah, is there a fights on right now? Junior's cheesecake. I don't know what that is. Jambalaya, yes, jambalaya is awesome. We used to eat paella a lot, which my wife knows all about. Don't you, honey? Paella. That was that's a good one. That's a good one. We always have something. When I go back, we have something. And hopefully I'll go back sometime early next year. Okay, so let me just continue here. This is the root of modern distinction. Expat equals foreigner that is elevated. Immigrant equals foreigner plus ordinary or low status. It's not a definition. It's a class system wearing a language disguise. Now, more modern corporate expatriates by the 20th century, corporations polished this word even further. Expat packages, housing allowance, school paid for, driver made, tax breaks. Now being an expat becomes something aspirational, something above normal, and that status has clung to the word like cologne. And when you think about it, where the word comes from is to mean you are banished. So did my country banish me? No, it didn't banish me. I said, I want to get out of here and I want to go live life. I want to see the world a little bit. And I have seen the world, and I'll continue to see the world. Now, let's look at the real history of being an immigrant and what it takes, and the poor, abused word immigrant. Then there's always the word Franquino. Yeah, I mean, you know, Franquino, Franquinial, I mean, whatever. Listen, you want to call me that? I don't care. I don't care what anybody calls me. They can call me whatever you want, you know. But the word expatriate means you're banished. You're out of here, buddy. Get out of here. And usually it was for political reasons. You know, maybe you got out of there because you thought, oh, I'm in danger because I said something bad about the king or whoever. Now you're out of here. So, the Latin origin of immigrants comes from immigrar, into. Migrare is to move, literal meaning to move into a place, which is very simple, clean, natural. And the early English usage in the 1500s and 1600s, immigrant wasn't a loaded word. It simply described arriving to live somewhere else. When the Irish came over in the early 1900s, they were immigrants. When the Italians came, they were immigrants. But here's where the line splits. Expatriate was used for people leaving rich countries. Immigrant was used for people entering rich countries, and that is the class division, which is kind of baked in from the start. And that's why originally I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm an expat. Are you an immigrant? Well, I mean, when somebody asked me before, I would say, yeah, I'm an immigrant, whatever. You can call me whatever you want. But there is a difference between the words. In the 1800s and 1900s, immigration became a problem politically. And then there was the mass migration of Irish to America, the Italians, Eastern Europeans, the Chinese, the South Asians, and later the Latin Americans. Governments wanted to sort people who were desirable, undesirable, highly skilled, lowly skilled, white, and non-white. Now, to me, why would you want anybody to come to your country that cannot provide something positive? Why do you want people coming in who are going, oh, I'm looking for a job as a laborer all the time? You can have day laborers, but to have people come and move to the country, oh yeah, I'm going to live off of $7 an hour. Well, you are if you're going to live with 5 other people, which maybe they do. I'm sure they do. But when you think about it that way, who are you letting into your country? And the word immigrant started gathering some baggage because of the fear and the suspicion and the whole package involving the administrative control. And meanwhile, expat, the word expat kept floating above all this, untouched and clean and sort of elitist. So when you think about it, now people think, oh, yes, I'm an expat. No, you're an immigrant. And people are like, no, I'm not an immigrant. Some people, they'll say that. Yeah, you are. You're an immigrant. You know, you might say whatever you want. You're not an immigrant working as a maid. Okay, I understand that. You're an immigrant who is a retiree. You're still an immigrant. What does it matter? Now, the word expat survives because it signals class. Let's just cut the bullshit and get to the heart of it. The only reason expat still exists is because people want this higher status word to describe themselves. Period. That's what it is. Right? Or wrong? When I think of expats, I think of good paying guys. Okay. All right. Well. No, you know what happened here? What did I do? Let's see here. Oh, there it is. What's the deal here? There we go. There we go. All right. That's for the super chat. In case you want a super chat. There you go. There's the goal. I think it's, what did I set it for? 10 at 200 baht. Big money. Big money there. That's why they call me Big Money Malin. Oh, yes. Let's see here. Let's continue here. How society uses the word. A British guy earning 38,000 baht is an expat. A Burmese guy earning 25,000 baht is a migrant. A Thai guy working in Korea might be migrant labor. A Cambodian working in Bangkok is a domestic worker. A German retiree on the beach is an expat. And the same action takes place. You're living abroad. It's just status-based. That's the only difference. Nobody, like I said, calls a Filipino nurse in Dubai an expat, and nobody calls some Laotian fisherman in Thailand working on a boat in Thailand. They don't call them an expat. But you know, if you're a Westerner and you got that laptop, then you're all of a sudden you become an expat. You're now elevated. Immigrant is the word you give to someone you want to relegate. It's a class distinction wrapped in vocabulary. Okay, so now the passport history and birth of modern borders. This is interesting to me because I did a little research on that. This is kind of the history of passports because somehow these labels came about. They don't just exist in air. And in the old days, the oldest form of a passport is an ancient safe conduct letter from 450 BC. The oldest form of a passport appears in the Bible, Nehemiah 2:7, a letter for safe passage. Ancient China, Persian, Rome, similar documents. Travel was dangerous, so you carried a letter to prove you are not a threat. You were not a threat. That's very interesting. I didn't even know that they did that. I know about these things, but I didn't know that This was a regular occurrence. In medieval Europe in the 1100s to 1400s, kings issued safe conducts. They were not passports, but precursors. In 1414, England issued one of the earliest documents resembling a passport, but everyday people didn't need these. Wow, that's kind of interesting. 1500s to 1700s, the word passport appears. It's derived from French. Passer is to pass. Port is gate or port. Originally required to get out of a city, not into another country. Well, I find that kind of interesting. Now, in the 1800s, there were early borders. As nation states formed, borders became stricter, identities mattered, governments wanted documentations, but passports still weren't mandatory. I don't want to hear her yakking away on the phone. So passports weren't even mandatory, which, you think about that. You think about the passport. Everybody takes it for granted now. Oh, I'm going to travel overseas. I got to get a passport. In 1914 to 1918, World War I changed the game, and this is where the world flipped. Countries started caring about enemy nationals, spies, deserters, foreign movement. The borders were closed, documents became mandatory, and passports became more sanitized and standardized. And this is where modern immigration and the words expat and immigration, the distinction really takes its shape. In 1920, the League of Nations standardization, the passport was a booklet with a photo, personal details, and official stamps. This is the ancestor of the modern passport. So 1920, so it's only been around for 100 years. That's not very long. And you never know. They may be putting chips into people's skin, into people's brain, and who knows. I know they tested this in Sweden. They tested putting a chip in somebody. I don't want people putting chips inside of me. I don't like this movement towards more and more and more modern. What is wrong with the way things used to be? Now, I understand, okay, 3 channels on TV, that's kind of limited, ABC, NBC, CBS in America. I understand, well, maybe you kind of want a little bit more to choose from. But now, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of channels that you got to choose from. Sometimes I'm watching TV and I just go, I just turn it off. I turned it off because I don't want to have to choose. And if I go online, I go, okay, now it used to be I go, wow, there's so much online. Oh my God. And then after, a few years, I was around and I'm old enough to have seen when the computer started becoming mainstream. And to be completely honest, I used to have a computer that had a 167 megahertz CPU, which nowadays they have 3.4, 4.0 gigabytes. So this was much, 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 much slower. It went through the modem and But back then I was, oh wow, this is an adventure to look around. Now I'm like, okay, so what is there? You could look at the news. I don't want to look at the news. You could look at, your website. Okay, great, fine. You could look at YouTube. No, thank you. You could look at Facebook. Definitely not. You can look at Instagram. Okay, Instagram, yeah, okay. Bunch of photos. You can look at X. No way. So now, if you look at all those things, what more do you have of the modern, you can use it as a tool. I understand that. You use it as a tool, and You don't have to be online all the time. So when I read this today, it was just this morning, early morning, I read about Simon Cowell, where he doesn't use any social media. He doesn't look at newspapers. I'm like, this is awesome. This guy he's, say what you will about the guy, but I love that. I don't have to be online. Your life is not online. Granted, I'm talking here. I want you to listen. I want you to watch my videos. Oh yeah. Okay. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. If you want to watch, watch. Up to you. I'm not saying you have to do away with everything because it's too modern. But, medicine, okay, modern is great unless you start getting into ethical situations. TV, I like it's on demand. You want to watch a movie, you hit Netflix, you click on the movie. You should just be able to type in what movie it is and get it. And that's it. You pay a fee for that. You can't really do that now. Now, you can do that on Fire Stick. You can do that on a lot of others, and sometimes they work. Most of the time they work. Sometimes they don't. Anyway, the 1980s to 2000 technology era, machine-readable and biometric passports emerge. Now we've got face scans, fingerprints, global databases, visa tracking, integrated watch lists. Borders went from wooden gates to digital firewalls. I know not everybody wants to hear about the modern world, but this is the world we live in now. I didn't change it. You didn't change it. We all just kind of are along for the ride, and whoever has decided to change things, this is what they're doing. They're changing things, and they're changing the passports. Think about it. Back in 1920, it probably was pretty easy to forge a passport. You still hear in the 80s, you still heard about people saying, hey, can you get me a passport? Nowadays, I don't know how easy it is to forge a passport, but I would say it's probably pretty difficult. You've got to have a lot of things right. It's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to give you $1,000, give me a new passport. I don't think that's how it is. All right. Now, the big picture tie-in and the part that a lot of people miss is modern borders, passports, visas, immigration control. All this is recent. It's barely 100 years old. That's not very old. All right, what does this say here? Cyborg, you got the right look. Yeah. Welcome to the Truman Show. Well, sorta. Overwhelmed with all the choices, so you end up scrolling forever and then throwing it out. I don't scroll forever. I start looking for something. If I can't find it, boom, I turn it off, and I'm just like, I'm going to do something else. Social interaction and the way people spend time has changed so much that I feel sorry for the people never had the internet and smartphones. Riders on the storm. Yeah. I feel sorry for the people who don't know what it was like to sit at dinner with, say, a group of like 8 or 10 people, and you just sit around conversing with each other. Nobody's staring at their phone. Nobody's trying to find out, well, what can I watch on my phone I'm going to play a game. And I know several people, and they're about 20 or 30 years younger than me, who I've sat down and had a meal with them, and the entire meal they're sitting there playing a game. I've seen people in the mall walking along and playing their game. Now, I'm not opposed to games. I'm just opposed to, it's your world. It's something that you're doing while everybody around you is kind of going, what's with this guy? And a lot of people are not even doing that because they're looking on their phone too. And I've said this a lot about how I'd be walking through the mall and I'd see it used to be, I'd be walking through the mall, I'd see some guy, and it was kind of crowded. I'd see some guy and he'd just be on his phone. He wasn't looking where he's going. I'd just kind of like stick my arm out. I'd be like, oh, boom, he'd run right into me. Oh, sorry, very sorry. Because I'd be like, you dick. Wake up. I mean, where are you? You know, I mean, I just don't understand it. I understand it now because people they're born into it. I mean, everybody, when I see, listen, I was born in Miami. I was born in Coral Gables. I live in Miami. If I go back, that's where I am, all right? When I see the version of Miami now, I'm not talking about cocaine and all this other stuff, excuse me. Oh, only 3. That's not bad. When I see the version that I grew up with, which was a growing city, and then a city with drug dealers, and cocaine built the city. When I saw it then, and now I see it. I see chicks who they go to Miami because they want to find a sugar daddy, or they want to flaunt their tits on Instagram, or they want to go out clubbing and meet. Maybe they're just they're racking up the numbers, you know, which I don't know. I mean, you know, like I hear of these things and it makes me thankful I'm married, because if I had to be out there now, I can remember taking a girl back to my room, and she was immediately on the phone, and I said, "You put that phone away or you get out." And she put the phone away. Now, this is right at the beginning when phones were starting to get popular. It wasn't like now when people are like, maybe the girl would go, "Fuck you, don't tell me what to do." Now, hopefully, some guy goes with a girl and she has enough respect and he has enough respect to put the phone away. You're having dinner, don't be looking at your phone every minute. What is so important? Now, you answer this to me. I don't care if you're an expat or an immigrant or whatever you are, wherever you are, if you're living back home even. What is so important that you can't wait an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours? Oh, I'm waiting for this really important phone call. Okay, I understand maybe, you got some deal cooking or something like that. Then, you politely excuse yourself and you say, "Excuse me, I'm working on something really important and I hate to do this, but I got to take this call." Okay, fine. But most of the time, it's not, "Oh, your father died, your mother died, your grandmother died." That's not what's happening. It's, so-and-so going, "Hey, man, what are you going to do later? Are you going to be there? Can we go to the club tonight?" I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. And maybe that's why I got married, because at the time, it was the right time. It was the time when the modern age was starting to really explode. And my wife and I were conservative enough and mellow enough about interacting with each other. We didn't care about phones and even to this day, my kids do not go on social media. They almost never are on social media. They may be online talking to their friend, on a Line app talking to their friend. They may be listening to music. Once in a great while, they might watch YouTube. But other than that, they are not on social media. My wife, she doesn't post things on social media. If she does, it's maybe once every 4 months, 6 months. If we were to go to America, she might post something. "Hey, going to America," and the little thing says, "So-and-so is now going to this place." And that's it. So there is a difference between the 1920s and the 2020s, and the difference between, you could say immigrant, expat, whatever, your elitism. Maybe that's where this entitled atmosphere, entitled attitude comes from. People feel like they're entitled to things, and they're not entitled to jack shit. That life didn't promise you anything, Now let me read some of these here. Zombie Central, blah, blah, blah. For Gen Z and millennials, it's all about the technology. Very true. Miami in the new Los Angeles, lot of plastic fake people there. Listen, I watch every so often at lunchtime. I watch. Hang on a second. Hey, do you mind? Has she no couth? I watch what is that show? 90 Day Fiance. I watch it every once in a great while just to catch up and to kind of watch and see what these knuckleheads are doing. Most of them are a bunch of knuckleheads. They really are a bunch of knuckleheads. But I see some people. There's the twins that I see, the blonde-haired, knuckle-headed twins, the girls. Man, that's how their lips look. Big fake titties. And I'm like, and she's like 50 years old going to the club. Woo, let's go drinking, woo. Shaking her big fat titties they're almost, you can almost see your nipples. And I'm like, oh God, and not my kind of girl. Okay, granted, I'm glad these guys like them. Good for them. That ain't my kind of girl. I'll tell you that right now. I don't need all the fake lips and the fake this and the fake that. That's why I married my wife when I was young. She was young. Now we have grown old together, which, that's another story. But it beats, you're 50 years old and you meet some chick who's 54 and, she's supposed to look a lot better because she's had all this done to her body. And I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Star Trek, Next Generation, got it right with the Borg. I don't know what the Borg is. I used to watch Star Trek as the series with William Shatner as Kirk. I never watched the movies. It's just, to me, I don't know. It's not the same. People's attention spans are low now. The moment boredom sets in, it's on the phone. Yeah, and it's like, I'll tell you something. I like the sweatshirt because I can put the phone right in my front pocket. I know where it is. I just let it sit there. It's actually duck lips. Because I don't want to grab my phone all the time. I don't want to feel like it's my pacifier. Oh, I need the pacifier. And, people's attention spans, yes, that is why YouTube wants everybody to look at the vertical videos, the short vertical videos. That's why they want them to do it, because they know people's attention spans are not 8 minutes like in a video, like in a stream. People want that quick boom, 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 boom. Hey, let me go to this. Hey, when people edit, if you're editing a video, it should be 2, 3, maybe 4 seconds at the most. Boom, boom, boom. You go from one to another. That way people are, oh, wow, oh. That's how they think. I have no problem with being called an immigrant by ties, Thai migration, or anyone else. Expat is part of the current usage. If that is a class identifier, that is okay with me. Yeah, I really don't care what people call me. I can be an expat or I can be an immigrant. Immigrant is the proper term. It is the legal term. And that is why you have a non-immigrant visa. You don't have a non-expat visa. Biscuit lips. People have become used to getting what they want, instant gratification. They got little patience and come off as whiny and lame. Yeah, that's true. I understand it. What are you going to do? Let them whine. Then that's one of the reasons why I say it all the time. I try not to be around people too much. I don't want to be around them too much. Even my friends, maybe I'm with them 3 or 4 hours at the most. That's a lot. 2 hours, 3 hours. Maybe I'm with them for a couple of hours. All right, then it's like, hey, good seeing you, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Gone. Because for me, it's like I live with my wife and my kids. My kids, I'm like, you can live here as long as you want. I don't care. Put your money away. You bring a chick in. You want to, you got your own room. Stay in the room with the chick. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Just, don't get carried away. But, that's fine with me. Because they live with me, I'm comfortable with them in my surroundings. But if it's somebody else there, no, I'm not. I'm not comfortable. If I go out somewhere, I'm comfortable for a little while, and then it's like, all right, I got to move on. Now, getting back to the passports and all this other stuff. Because this system is new and politically charged, the vocabulary around it, expat, immigrant, migrant, foreign worker, become loaded with status. Think about it. You use the word illegal immigrant in America and they go, no, undocumented worker. No, they're an illegal immigrant. Sorry. They're illegal. You can say undocumented. Okay, they're illegal and undocumented. The labels evolve not necessarily from the definition, but from the social hierarchy. And I can tell you in this situation, if you're saying illegal immigrant, it comes from the definition. That is the very definition of somebody who goes in illegally. It's illegal. So they are an illegal immigrant. Now, sometimes when you say expat and immigrant, the label is what, this distinction is what kind of survives today, which I don't really know why it's such a big deal, but not because one group moves for work and the other for lifestyle, not because one is temporary and one is permanent, not even because of the legality, but because people want to feel important. They want the government to kind of rank people, and societies want to sort foreigners into high and low categories. And that's what it is. It's a class system. It's kind of a linguistic caste structure. That's how it works. And you can say words don't cause you harm, but in this particular instance, the words are wrapped in something that sounds very harmless. Oh, you're an expat. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Nobody takes offense to that. Maybe the immigrants take offense at it. Now, if you said, hey, Scott, how's it feel to be an immigrant in Thailand? Okay, because I don't want to let you affect me. Now, your words, I go, immigrant? Yeah, well, I am an immigrant. Okay, so what's the problem? What is the problem? Now, it's a problem if you're an expat. It's not a problem if you say, I'm an immigrant. Well, I'm an immigrant. Nobody gets pissed. But if you say you're an expat, they do get pissed. Now, was Hemingway an expat when he was in Paris? Yes, he was. You know why? Because he didn't live there full time. He went there for a couple of months at a time, then he left. It was temporary. That's how it worked then. People cross borders with documents their grandparents never needed. They use passports with microchips. They fly halfway around the world. They settle in a foreign culture. They live, work, raise their families, and retire. And the thing they care most about is what label they're getting. You think about that. Thailand ranks you by your wallet. Well, doesn't everywhere? If you got plenty of money and you come into a country, you're generally afforded some leniency. If you have no money, You have no status. You know, money is status. That's what it is. You got money, hey, you can get at. Look at the kid from Red Bull. Where is he now? Is he in jail? No. And you know what afforded that to him? Money. That's what I think, at least. Who knows? Now, if you think about it, everyone wants to be an expat. Nobody wants to be an immigrant. And if you strip away the ego, the marketing, the colonial leftovers, and the bullshit, you get an expat is just an immigrant who thinks he's better than the word immigrant. Oh, I'm not an immigrant. I'm an expat. Yeah, I don't know about that. Charles, hey, how you doing? 49 degrees here in Pechabun this morning. Wow. Yeah, it was 60 here yesterday morning. 60 degrees Fahrenheit. 15 degrees Celsius. Very nice. Very, very nice. And I was like, I love this weather. And look, I'm wearing a sweatshirt now. I got my door closed, so I don't have to listen to my wife yapping away. And I still have my sweatshirt on, and I'm not sweating in the least. I'm nice and cool. I go out, and I go, I feel cozy with this on. I'm like, it's been a long time since I felt this way. You know, I used to have a leather jacket, and I'd wear a sweater underneath it and a shirt. I'd be layered. And I felt really good because it was a nice leather jacket with fur on the inside. And, oh, I thought, oh, this is the life, man. This is it. This is happening. Just came back from Tucson a few days ago. Felt like it came along with me. Morning was nice and cool. Charles, how you doing? How was your trip to Hawaii? Hello, Nicholas.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rifling through the cereal. He found Cocoa Pebbles. They've had Cocoa Pebbles here for a little while. I remember they never had Cocoa Pebbles here. And I actually did that in a video. I stated it. I was in, what was it? What's the name of that place? I haven't been there in a while. M. Courtier. I went to M. Courtier looking for Cocoa Pebbles for him when he was a little kid. And I couldn't find them. They didn't have them. They had Cocoa Crunch, they had Cocoa this, Cocoa that, but they didn't have Cocoa Pebbles. And now, give me that box. Let me see that box over there. Now they have Cocoa Pebbles, which I don't know why this kid is so enthralled with chocolate. But he is. Let me see this. There it is, right there. Cocoa Pebbles, baby. You got an ant in there?
No, it's like a plastic thing.
Here. Take it back. Cocoa Pebbles, we love it. Let's see here. I just came back from, okay. Good, back home in Pechabun. I'm sure that's nice. Good morning there, Kunjim. The Alaska Fishing Days with Seattle. Too. Great sweatshirt. Captain Crunch and Apple Jacks. He doesn't like that stuff. He likes cornflakes, Cocoa Pebbles, and maybe Tricks. I like Captain Crunch myself, Captain Crunch peanut butter, but I don't eat that stuff anymore because I just don't, I'm not eating the sugar. I mean, you know, I'm eating cucumbers and tomatoes and Greek yogurt and whey protein, salmon. What did I have yesterday? I got some lamb in there, some lamb cutlets. I have lamb every once in a while. That's very good. But I'm not eating that kind of stuff. Back in the fishing days, I remember buying a couple of sweatshirts. And inevitably, they got fishy. And it got to the point where you're wearing them all the time. So it's like you're washing them, wearing them, washing them, wearing them. And they just stunk like fish. I paid about $10 for a box of Captain Crunch at Villa Marca. Yeah, I know. I think Trix was 420 baht. So not cheap, I don't miss those Alaska. I don't miss the work in Alaska. I do miss Alaska. I liked being at the bottom of a massive hill and there were bears at the top of the hill and you could watch them. I do miss seeing the bald eagles. I do miss seeing the seals and the just the ice, and I miss it. I do miss that. That was really nice. I mean, I really liked it. It was that was a nice time in my life, and it's a perfect example of the work sucked, and it was very, very difficult. But then when you weren't working and you had time off, most of the time it was great. It was fantastic. You stood out on the front of the boat, a couple guys there, and you're just looking at everything, and it was great. I am victim to the munchies, Captain Crunch. Yeah, I'm not a victim of that stuff. My food is my fuel. And I'm in a lot better shape now, and I feel really good. And, I am 63 years old, so I think I'm doing pretty good for 63. Captain Crunch and Frosted Flakes are a regular late night snack. Yeah, I don't snack late night. That sounds really good, though. Frosted Flakes is good. I really like that, too. I like all those, but I just don't eat any of them. I don't eat cereal now. I don't eat any cereal. I used to eat that, what is that stuff? Mueslix with fruit in it. Dried fruit, raisins and stuff like that. Now, the kids eat it, but, they went to the grocery yesterday and got Cocoa Pebbles and cornflakes. I can't eat that stuff. None of that stuff will sit well with me now. I don't want to go there. What did I eat yesterday? For lunch, I had a piece of ground beef with cheese, Greek yogurt, 2 baby cucumbers, a slice of brown onion on top of the beef, whey isolate, which is like 33 grams of protein, no carbohydrates, and like 2 grams of fat. And I think that was all I had for lunch. That was it. And when I get hungry, I just have a tea with mint. I have an espresso. I'm a little burnt out on espresso, to be honest. But anyway, let me continue here. Yeah, I have creatine. I put that in my protein. And my arm is a little better, but it's still not good. I think it's good enough for the, I don't know where they are. Oh, here it is. For the bands. I have 2 bands. This one's a little lighter. Anyway. I don't know how well the creatine is working, to be honest. I have creatine every single day in a protein drink. Or I would have it in oatmeal if by chance I had oatmeal, which I don't usually do that very often because it's very high in carbs. Let's see here. What was I looking for? Oh. Forgetful. So that's what it's all about. Are you better than the word immigrant? Do you feel like, well, I'm better than that. I have to be an expat. Frankly, I don't really care and never have cared what you call me. And am I an immigrant straight up? Yes, I am. But if I've been guilty of anything, it's not thinking about the difference between an expat and an immigrant, or really giving it any consideration or any weight, any real weight. Now, recently, I started thinking about it. I just was like, listen, why do I have a non-immigrant visa? Why does anybody have a non-immigrant visa? Why do they not have an expat visa? Well, because the legal terminology is immigrant. So that's what I've been guilty of. But if you move abroad, you live abroad, and you do what you want, don't fool yourself. The label does not make you any different. It doesn't change who you are. It changes who you think you are. And the locals, they continue to call you one thing, and that is foreigner. And here in Thailand, Farang. That's the end of the story. That's what they call you. They don't call you an expat. Hey, Scott, my expat friend. No, that's not what they do. Well, creating's for a lot of things, but it's to help you continue with your muscle mass, not to lose muscle mass. I think that the term immigrant refers more to someone seeking permanent residence. Well, you say that as if you need to have paperwork showing that you're a permanent resident. But what I'll say is, I've been here for more than 30 years, so am I an immigrant? Are you an immigrant? You've been here for many years. So are you an immigrant? I would say yes, you are. And if you look at your visa as a retiree, it says non-immigrant visa. Now, I don't know why it uses the word non instead of immigrant, but I think that is because they don't want you to emigrate to the country unless you get all the paperwork done. So, you can call it semantics if you want. I don't really think that it is semantics. And maybe I did in the past. I think it's a little more pronounced than that. And, an expat is somebody, Hemingway was an expat. Let me see here something. He would go to Paris in the 20s with his little crowd of cronies, and he would be there for whatever length of time he was there, which I'm trying to find out because I don't know exactly how long he was there. He was absolutely an expat. He was the textbook version of one. He lived in Paris for the whole Lost Generation era, in Spain for the bullfights, the Civil War, and the works, for Cuba, and that was probably the most famous stretch of his life. And in Key West, he was just a wanderer, but that's not overseas. So, but he didn't leave because he was fleeing danger. He wasn't a refugee. He wasn't escaping genocide or persecution. He left because he wanted freedom and inspiration and chaos and romance. And he ran towards that, but he didn't live there permanently. Let's see something here. It's going to give me my answer here. I'm going to spit it out here. Spit it out. Immigrant has the intention to stay and live, like gaining citizenship. Expat is someone that intends to return home. That was my point. An immigrant is theory. Okay, but are you an immigrant, Jim, or are you an expat? Most expats do not settle permanently anywhere. They live abroad for a couple of years, and their intent is really irrelevant. It's kind of your lifestyle and motivation. Yeah, you see, if you're an immigrant, you want to integrate long term, you want to become part of the society. He lived abroad as an American in Paris, as an American in Cuba, an American in Spain. That's what he did. Now, I can say, well, I'm an American in Bangkok, but when I moved here, I had the intention to integrate into the society and live here long term. So I'm going to say I am an immigrant. Retirees are considered expats even though they may plan to stay and die in a foreign country. Yeah, I don't really think that way, to be honest. Um, I think personally, I've integrated about as much as you can integrate into society here. I've worked with Thais, I've lived among Thais, and I've been here for a long, long time. And yeah, I think, and I don't think I'm ever going back to live where I came from. Uh, so, yeah, I mean, but Westerners are generally called expats. That's how it works. And if they said to me, listen, you pay us 1 million baht and you'll become a citizen, would I do it? Probably. Yeah, I probably would. I consider myself based on the Constitution. Yeah. 3 New York strip steaks, $76. Is that good? Sounds good to me. It's about what, 20, 28, $29 each? They're going to cost you more in a steakhouse. In the eyes of Thai immigration, I don't think we're considered immigrants, even though we've lived here for decades and have family that are Thai. Well, I don't really care what they say, but I kind of think, listen, you can call me either one. It doesn't matter to me. I don't really know which one I would. I don't know how it breaks down because I don't think I'm ever going to move. So I am permanent here, as permanent as I can be. And I just asked ChatGPT, am I an expat or an immigrant? And it says, you are an immigrant, not because of paperwork, not because of how long you've lived in Thailand, because of your mindset. And that's the dividing line. An expat often keeps 1 foot out the door. They keep their identity tied to their home country. They rarely see their foreign country as a final stop or home. I consider this home. They also imagine moving someday, mentally thinking of themselves as a visitor. I don't really think I'm a visitor. I know I may be a guest of theirs, of Thai people, the Thai government. Um, you know, but most expats don't really integrate into society. And I have put roots down here. And for that matter, it says you live in Thailand, you have a Thai wife, Thai kids, a full life here. You've been here for 30 plus years. You're mentally, socially, and practically here. That's immigrant territory. So I would say, Jim, I don't know if you really are going to stay here for the rest of your life or you'll move back to the States. I don't know. If you plan on living here for the rest of your life and you have that switch in your head that says, I'm not going back, that's a different story. Now, I understand they can kick you out. They can ask you to leave. They can change the rules. They can do things like that. I don't think that's what differentiates an expat and an immigrant. They can do that to an immigrant as well. Yeah, I understand that, but they don't say to you, you're an expat. They say you're a non-immigrant. And, that's the thing. I don't think I'll ever leave. I think I'll be here. And most expats think about going home. The paperwork doesn't really define you. You don't need PR or citizenship to be an immigrant. Millions of immigrants worldwide never get the government status that they should, but their life is rooted in making them an immigrant, regardless of the visa label. Thailand's bureaucracy doesn't erase your reality. You built your adult life here. I mean, that's just the way that I look at it, too. So I'm not an expat. I'm not a tourist who stayed too long. I'm not a wandering foreigner. I am rooted, integrated, committed, established. Maybe with the Thai government's paperwork, I may be something else, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see here. Non-immigrant in Thailand means you are here legally, but not on a pathway to permanent residency. It's a technical classification, not an identity. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting to me. I saw that news as well. It's lame. What are you talking about? Well, the U.S. can kiss my ass, quite frankly. If I want to be a dual citizen, I'm going to do it. And, it might happen sooner than later, quite frankly. Although I may go back to watch some Olympic events. I'll go back for my parents. I'll go back to visit. But I don't want to go back there to live. Ever. Ever. Now, I can live somewhere else in Thailand. I could live in Indonesia part-time. I could live in Albania part-time. I could live in Greece. I could live in Spain. I could live in Portugal. I could live in Italy part-time. Wherever I'd like to. And that's the thing. Now I think about it. When I think about it, I think, I don't know that one place has it all. So maybe what you need to think is if you're going to live somewhere else, you can pick up a citizenship. I could go to Ecuador. If I want to live in Ecuador, all I got to do is go there and say, okay, I plan on living here. I want to get the paperwork. I got to qualify for it. Then out of 2 years, you're allowed to leave for 3 months. That means I got to live there. Then, boom, you get your permanent residency. You can get your everything else, and you are a citizen of their country. So, I don't like this. You can't become a dual citizen. I think that's just, that's overkill. Yeah, well, I mean, the bottom line is this. Most countries care about your money and they don't really care about you. That's just the truth. And, people take offense at that, but I don't take any offense at all. Because let me just tell you something. If I was a guy working at McDonald's and I had absolutely no money, and I said, I'm going to live in Thailand and I have no money, but I want to live in Thailand, the Thai government would go, no, you don't qualify. Well, so would the American government. If I was Mexican and I said, well, I sell tacos and I make, $25 a week, $50 a week, I'm going to go live in America. My aspiration is to work at McDonald's. They'd say, no, you're not. The same thing with Thailand. The same thing with it. Everybody wants money, man. That's the bottom line. So being debt-free, stashing the cash, putting cash away if it's earning passively, all those kind of things. I wish I would have learned that when I was very, very young, because it would have made a difference in my life. But now, and in the last, say, 10, 20 years, I've learned about this and learned more and more, and I'm fine. I'm okay. I've lived in Thailand when I have to my life. Oh, okay, I heard all that. About 15, 20 years ago, I started researching places to live, much of which we focused on culture where I fell I would fit in. I looked into several countries. Thailand met my requirements. Well, listen, when I came over, I didn't do my research. I just kind of had some ideas of what it was like. And it was two places, it was down to two places, Indonesia and Thailand. And it just happened that I had an Indonesian neighbor, and her sense of humor was, I just didn't get it. I wasn't like drawn to her. And I don't mean that in necessarily a physical way. I mean, I just didn't like her that much. I was just like, eh. And so I was like, I think Thailand probably would be better. I started thinking about everything else, and Thailand would be better for me. Now, if I was to research things, I don't know that I would come to Thailand first. I mean, that's the truth. If I had it all to do over again, I don't know that I would come to Thailand first. Maybe I would go somewhere like Ecuador and just get a citizenship and then go somewhere else and get a citizenship. Maybe I would think that was more important, but back in those times, I don't think it was all that important to people. People didn't care about it. Now, people are running from the United States. They don't want to live in the United States. There are people from the United States that have told me, I left there because it's just got too crazy. Well, it is different. You will never fully integrate here. You will never be Thai. That's the bottom line. But you can integrate yourself as much as possible. Learn to speak the language. Learn to be able to read some of the language. Learn to be able to write a little bit if you can. Learn to understand their ways. Why do they bow when they bow? Why do they why when they why? Why do they bow through people when they walk through them? Why do they do all these kind of things? How do they react? And that's something that I do get into in the book about how they are very indirect and non-confrontational. And that is the one thing that if you want to really know about Thai people, just tell yourself you don't want to be confrontational. That is the one thing to take away. And I always say, be sabai, sabai, mai pen rai, jai yen yen. All those things come into play. And quite honestly, I think if you remember that, Thailand gets to be a lot better for you. If you're uptight and you want to fight about everything and you want to challenge everything, it doesn't work here. It's their way. That's the thing. Their way of doing things is different from your way. It doesn't mean your way is better or their way is better, but they are different. And so this is not America. And I say that all the time to people. I don't care what goes on in America, and I don't compare my prices anymore. Sometimes I do with my mother. My mother will go, oh, I made this or that. And I go, wow, okay, so let me see here. You bought this. How much is that? And then I'll go, oh, so if I was to do it, it would cost, half the price or something. That I may compare, but most of the time when I'm shopping, I just go, oh my God, this is 300 baht now. It used to be 200, Many Thais want to leave Thailand for a better life in a Western country. No one is ever satisfied. No, it's just like if you're with a blonde, maybe you want a chick with black hair. You're with a chick with black hair, maybe you want a blonde. You're with an Asian, maybe you want a very blonde girl with a, well, I'm not going to say it, but, people want what they can't have. They're with a straight-haired girl, they want a curly-haired girl. Some people, they get what they want, and they're like, hey, okay, I'm content. And, for the most part, I am content because I don't want to, it's not about the search. The search is part of it, but being content and being relaxed and being happy is the other part of life. It's not just about, I'm on the prowl, which, I used to do a lot of prowling when I was younger. I don't do that anymore. My life is much more relaxed, and my life is about as relaxed as you can get, man. I do whatever I want, and that's how it is, And I like that. And I think for the most part, that's how Jim's life is. That's how Jono's life is. That's how Charles' life is. I think he does pretty much what he wants to do. And, For the most part, I do what I want to do because I think it's good for me. It's what I want. It works for me. It doesn't cause any problems. It doesn't put me farther behind the eight ball, and I'm happy with that, you know? Oh, I appreciate the amount of respect. Also, I travel through the immediate area and I'm reminded of my childhood, kids fishing, swimming, riding in the back of a pickup. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, you know, I don't get reminded because to me it looks like a foreign land. It does look foreign to me. My appeal has always been the people. And people are different. They're very kind. They're very generous. You know, the reason that many Thais don't want to live here is because they're not earning enough money. Well, if you're not earning enough money, then you need more schooling. And even then, it might not be enough. So then if you want to go abroad, then fine, go abroad. Go wherever you want to go. I don't see a problem with that. They can go abroad just like we can. Now, it may be more difficult for them, but if you've got an education, you've got a little money saved, then generally it's not all that difficult to get to another country. My wife's going to have to get another visa soon. And I suspect it'll be a piece of cake. Really, even with all the changes they've made. I mean, she got the thing last time in like 10 minutes. I think it'll be very, very easy for her. She's traveled all over the world. You know, where was it that she said she was thinking about we might go? Well, she's going, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go along for the trip if we go. And I think that's in. I think it's. Did I say Greece? Is that where it was? Maybe Malta. That's where it was. So anyway, here we go. Anyway, listen, for people who don't like how they're treated here, then leave. That's all. I mean, you know, where's the guy that wrote me? And I get these messages all the time. I see a lot more opportunities for Thais who are willing to commit to it. Those who apply themselves in school have good opportunities for scholarships. Yeah. Let me see something here. Let's see. Oh, now I put up the video, Love in Pattaya. What are the real odds of finding love in Pattaya? Now, I think they are slim to none. The reason I think they're slim to none is because the whole city is kind of geared towards, it's a transient city. People come, and while there are expats living there or immigrants living there, whatever you want to call them, the majority are tourists. So the people get used to tourists. But the people who live there, if they're very smart and they know what to look for, of course they can find love. You can find love anywhere. But for most of the people, I would say there isn't a chance in hell. So the guy says, you have to look in a better pool of girls. Well, that's always the case. You should be looking for the best pool of girls anytime you're looking for a girl. I mean, okay, if you just want to get laid, that's a different story. But if you're looking for a girl like, you know, you want to have a girlfriend or something like that, well, then why aren't you going to look for a good one? What are you going to go looking in some Pattaya bar for? There are very nice girls in Pattaya. I don't doubt that. And some of the girls are working and they're very nice girls. I only date university-educated girls with professional jobs. Well, that's what I did. And I also went to the bars. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have success. And in Pattaya, you're going to have to really look to be able to find a girl like that that's single and that wants you. Let me give you a prime example of a Pattaya YouTuber, Pete on Retreat. He met a very nice girl and talks about it. That's one guy. Okay, I'm sure there might be 100 guys that have met their girls in Pattaya. 100 out of how many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of girls? Come on, get real, man. You know, I hear this kind of stuff. He's like talking to me, oh, you have to look in a better. I don't have to look for anything. That's the thing. I'm not looking for anything. You're not talking about me. You're talking about what guy, and I always say, and I said it a long time ago, aim higher. Don't just go looking for some slut in a bar. You know, every Tom, Dick, and Nelson in their, you know, has had her. You don't want that. What do you want that for? You know, I mean, come on. You got to get real, man. I see more. Oh, Love and Patia, laughing my ass off. Patia is like looking in a polluted, toxic pool. Yeah. I agree, I will never be Thai, but I have integrated much better than many Farangs. I socialize with Thais over foreigners. I have developed good relations with Thais. Well, I don't doubt that. And, you know, I have good relations with the Thais that I want to have relations with. But I am very careful about it. And generally, the ones that I have relationships with are friends of my wife. I have a few that I've met that are friends of my wife, and they become friends outside of my wife. We don't, you know, the wife is not going with me when we go out in mass or something like that. That doesn't happen very often. And to be completely honest, the older I get, the less people that I'm going and like going, oh, I've got to go meet this guy, and I'm going to go meet that guy, and go. I had a guy the other day, he said, oh, listen, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, okay, well then, come over to where I am over here in Bankapi. Now, I don't know this guy. Never met him in my life. I said, or do a voice call. You know, a video call. Never heard from the guy again. Apparently, he wanted me to go halfway across the city for him when I don't even know who he is, which I just don't do that. You know, it's nothing malicious or personal or anything like that. But it's just when you think about it, if you were in the United States and some guy just called you up and go, hey, will you come over here and talk to me about something? I got a problem I need to talk to you about. No, you're not going to do that. He's going to be like, no, you need to come to my office or you need to come see me, you know. So, you know, and I think with the Thais and the foreigners, I told you, Jim, in the beginning, you're going to have very few foreign friends. You're going to have a few. And most of the others will drop off, and you'll be like, I don't want to be friends with that guy. Now, with Thais, maybe, you know, you need to think about, are they transactional? If they're not transactional, if it's just, hey, this is a good dude, he doesn't ever ask for anything, I don't ever ask for anything from him, then that's great. Fantastic. That's how it should be. Anyway. All right. Well, just so you guys know, once again, we had a Thanksgiving gathering for a large group of Farang. Many have been here much longer than I, yet they refuse to assimilate. Who's more immersed than I? Yeah, but you know, what does that matter? Why do they have to immerse to get your friendship, or why? Why do you care about that? You be you. You do what you want to do. And let them be who they want to be. And then if you don't want to hang out with them because of that, just because of that, okay, I guess. But I don't look at people who have been here. I know guys who have been here. I know one guy in particular who's been here a little bit longer than me. And he only knows how to say, go straight, turn left, turn right, how much? That's his extent of Thai. Which I'm like, dude, you know, okay, so that's one part of his life. I'm like, dude, you need to ratchet it up, man. You need to do something about that. But everything else, I'm like, hey, he's cool, man. Good guy. You know, so to me, it doesn't really matter what everybody else is doing. I only concern myself with me. I call me selfish like that. I concern myself with what I'm doing. I don't concern everybody else. If they're doing something illegal, I don't want to be around it. If they're doing something I don't agree with, then I'm out of there. You know, that's about it. It's very simple. I try to simplify things as best as I can. Because for me, I'm already, you know, I go wherever I want, whenever I want, do whatever I want. I don't need my wife with me. It's nice to have her with me, but I don't need her with me. She doesn't have to go and speak for me or go talk to somebody and get a price for me. No, that's not how it works. I just don't look at it the same way. And I don't even look at it as like, well, now I'm here in Thailand. Wow, I'm so lucky. Oh my God. I don't look at it that way. I know how things work, and I try to do everything I can to stick to the rules, do everything that's necessary. And, you know, everybody else can do what they want to do. You know, it's that simple, really. Yeah, but you see, that again, I'm not saying they have to assimilate to be in your circle. Okay, I understand that, but you don't understand it because some people are lazy. You know, I mean, why doesn't one person learn? Listen, John O learned some basic Thai. He didn't have to, but he did. I commend him for that. He stopped taking the Thai lessons. Now, he'll always be able to say, oh, Sawadi Kap, oh, Tao Rai, oh, Pai Tini, Pai Tinuna, whatever. He'll be able to say certain words. But he's, you know, he guy's 70 years old, man. What's he got to, he doesn't have to prove anything. He doesn't have to assimilate anymore. To me, he is what he is. You know what I mean? And okay, good on him for that. I don't understand it either, but it is what it is. They are who they are, and, you know, I mean, that's just the way that I look at it. You know, they are who they are, and if they want to do something, they want to assimilate, they want to get deeper into Thai culture, they will. I know guys who have studied Thai culture. I knew one guy, he's dead now. He died at like 88. He used to study the language meticulously. Where did the language emanate from? How do they speak in this area? How do they speak in that area? What language has been forgotten? He used to study all these things, and he barely spoke Thai. But he knew about the languages, you know. So I'm like, okay. But I was like, dude, you should learn to speak some Thai, you know. Whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got to go. It's time to go now. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim, for coming in. Thank you, everybody else. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining in the chat. Very nice. Nice, peaceful conversation, which I like. And hopefully, I'm going to check afterwards, but I think the sound is probably better. And, you know, you guys may not notice it or really think about it, and that's fine. But for me, you know, whatever it is, what it is, hopefully it's going to be better, but we'll see. See you later there, Lung Jim. Take it easy. If you want to watch something good on Netflix, let me just give you one piece of advice. It's called The Stringer. And I know exactly where the guy was going and where he was in the city, and it was really cool because it took place in Ho Chi Minh, a lot of it. And it was about that famous picture that was taken by Nick Ut, a Vietnamese guy, when the girl was running down the street and she was burned. She had been burned by napalm. Really good documentary. I really liked it, but that's my recommendation. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.